Thank you, sir, for such a kind introduction. But I am just your student. All that aggression all came by looking at you because you are always at a forefront and one of the lighting force for all of us. So today, obviously, sir has introduced me into all this activism and everything, which I did, but it is just, you can say, past. Now I am more interested or more working on academics, and so that's why today we are discussing a very important thing. Though we all know this, we all know that lifestyle is very important, but now a newer concept is coming into picture that lifestyle is longevity because of the advancement of medical sciences, because of the advancement of medical technology, most we have prolonged the life of common people. Now even many dangerous, we can say, cancers or even infectious diseases, communicable diseases, they are now converted into a prolonged illnesses, and people are living with like CA prostate or even HIV, but they are living for like 20 years, 25 years. So there is such a long life even after many dangerous diseases. So the important point then arises that we have prolonged the life, but how to live it actively or how to live it independently is an important factor, because now I see many elder patients because my specialization is in elder care, and I see many elder patients, and if I give them two options, one, whether you want to live till 100 years of life, or second, whether you want to live independently or without any dependence. So without any exception, all of them wants independence, because a few of you obviously are young people, so you won't understand the importance of independence. But when the people grow old, then they understand that depending financially, physically, or in any form to at anyone, maybe their own son, daughter, but that is very much affecting them psychologically, emotionally, financially, in all ways. So that's why maintaining independence in later years of life is actually starts during your early years of life or from the mid years of life. So that is an important thing. That's why I am here to discuss these things. So first and the foremost important thing is that we have to understand the gravity of situation. The issue is that the demographic shift is coming. In next 2 decades, we are going to see a big demographic shift in Indian population, and we are going to be an older population rather than being a younger, which is now. So just 20 years from now, in we can say that it will surpass the number of children by 2046. So just 2 decades and the whole demography is going to shift. All of our treatment, which is now more focused on children centric or more focused on adult centric, is now going to be changed into elder centric, because we are going to see many more elder patients or older patients rather than being younger or children. So this demographic shift must be understood. Second important thing is there is two important factors which you have to understand. One is age and second is aging. Age is a chronological number. Chronological number mean, and it has a difference in children's and in elders. Like if you see a 2 years children, if you compare them, they have their milestones. So they both of them must be equally developed to call them as normal. Otherwise, we call them as developmental delay. But this is not true for a 70-year-old person. It might be possible that one 70-year person is swimming, cycling, dancing, doing all those type of activities, and it might be possible that the other 70-year person is lying on a bed, severely ill, not able to do even their daily activities. So these two 70-year people are not equal. They are not similar. So, but if you see them by chronology, they are both 70 years of age. But now the newer concept is developing, which is about the biology. Now the people are not talking about the chronological age. Now there is lots of discussion on the biological age, that what is the biological age. It might be possible that you might be seeing some reports. It is also available in some gyms also, where they tells that otherwise your age is 75, but your biological age is 55, 56 or something like this. But the main thing is that there is no exact criteria or parameter to assess a biological age. There are newer biomarkers are coming, which may be in future we may able to find out the exact age, but currently we have to rely on chronological age. But why I am emphasizing on this chronological and biological age is actually the importance is that chronological age is usually unidirectional, means you are born on some date, time, year, and it will continue. If I am 40 years today, so I will only become 42, 45 or 50, but not reverse. But the importance of biological age is that you can go other direction also. Means it may be possible that biologically today you are 70 years of age, but with good changes in lifestyle, diet and all these things which I am going to discuss now, it might be possible that now your biology may become to 60 years of age or 55 years of age. So biological age is bidirectional, chronological age is unidirectional. So now there is lots of discussion on biological age. And second important thing is that improvement is possible at every age. So every age, it means not only 30 years, 40 years or 50 years. This also means 80 years, 90 years, 95 years, 96 years. And this I am not talking just as a motivational speaker. This is my personal experience. I am treating 90, 95 years, 98 years, 99 years patient, and they are active. Even where I am working now, my director, Dr. Sneha Bhargav, she was director of AIIMS when even I was not born at that time. So she is still 94 years of age, very active, doing all her activities, cognitively very sound, because she has also maintained her lifestyle well. So there are three important components. Actually, whatever I am going to discuss, you must have heard somewhere, because this is nothing rocket science. But the important is that if we bring them into a particular focus, particular combined way, then it will be very beneficial. So three important factors which is very important. First is obviously physical. Physical includes physical activity and diet. Second important factor is cognitive and psychological components, because a person should be cognitively sound. You must be aware that cognition is not just memory. It is also your learning capacity, your executive functions, motor functions, all these together is called as cognition. So cognition means the complete functions of brain. So brain's functioning activities, and along with that psychological component. This is very important, that if you are psychologically not sound, so or depressed, not feeling good, then even if you are physically good, you are taking diet good, but still you are not going to be good or healthy. And the third important factor is social component. We all know human being is a social animal. We need social involvement, social encouragement. We have seen many people who are rich, have lots of cars, everything, but not happy because they are not getting the social recognition, the social appreciation, the amount of involvement from the society. So that's why involving socially is also very important. So these three building blocks are important for successful aging. And the predictor for successful aging is, the most important is that who will check whether you are aging properly or not. The answer is you. Subjective well-being is the most important predictor of well-being. So if you are feeling, means there is even, it is also our cultural thing also, that we ask, हम लोग एक दूसरे को बुलाते हैं कि क्या हाल है आपका, कैसे हैं आप. This is actually to ask the subjective well-being. हमारा तो मतलब we are now into this thing that we have a like, किसी ने पूछा है तो बस ऐसे ही बोल दिया हाँ जी सब अच्छा चल रहा है, सब चंगा. But the issue is that there is a scientific basis behind it. The basis is that if you are yourself feeling good, then this will definitely motivate you to do lots of other things. So subjective well-being is a very important thing. Resilience is a very important thing. So these are also predictors of successful aging. So strategies which we are going to discuss today, first is obviously lifestyle, diet, cognitive activities I will discuss. Social involvement is obviously, this is now, today we are doing social involvement. Along with that, call your friends, family, meet with them. We are all doctors, we can help people by doing some social services also. Vaccination is important and chronic disease control is important, which we are going to discuss. So these vaccines are important for elders, and but there is very less awareness about the vaccines. Only people were discussing about vaccinations in children, but not aware of the vaccination in elders. So these vaccinations, specifically influenza, we are seeing lots of people dying from influenza. We are seeing lots of people dying from pneumonia. So pneumonia vaccine should be given, influenza vaccine should be given. Nowadays, lots of discussion is on herpes zoster, that is shingles. But because this is not very common, shingles, but if it occurs, it is a very painful situation. So it is advisable to give vaccine. Even if the person is suffering from shingles, still give them the vaccine. Vaccine is very important. The only problem is about the cost of the vaccine. It is slightly costly, around 11,000 per shot. It has 2 shots, so 22 to 23,000 cost, but it is a once in a lifetime vaccine. So person usually, if they are affordable, they can afford. And respiratory syncytial virus, not much seen in India, but most of those patients who are going abroad, because nowadays their children are living outside, like in America, UK or somewhere, their RSV is very important, so they take this vaccine also. Tdap is diphtheria, and human papilloma virus vaccine for herpes. And then chronic diseases modification is very important. Controlling of diabetes, controlling of hypertension is very important factor for a healthy aging. Then preventing osteoporosis is very important factor. So there is lots of studies which shows that if you are doing regular physical activities, then your bones will be strengthened, and there is very less chances that you will develop osteoporosis. We have seen many people who comes to us with just young people with sedentary lifestyle, but with severe osteopenia, just moving towards osteoporosis. So sedentary lifestyle is causing this also, so that's why activities are very important. For osteoarthritis also activities are very important, but weight bearing activities, in which you can take some weight and then doing physical activity. Sarcopenia is an important factor in elders. Sarcopenia means muscle loss. Penia means loss, sarco means muscle, osteopenia means bone loss, sarcopenia means muscle loss. It is a well-known entity in elders, and muscle has important functions. Obviously, the first is the muscle mass, then strength and function. So in elders, gaining muscle mass again is not possible, or not very, not appropriately we can regain the muscle mass, but we can regain the function, which is important. So that can be done with resistant trainings. So first is weight-based training to avoid osteoarthritis, resistant band trainings for avoiding sarcopenia or loss of muscle mass. I am going to discuss all these trainings also in my further slides. So exercise is very important. First is light activities. This activities you have to do, means your patients and everyone have to do every day. In these activities are not considered as exercise, but the purpose is that you have to stay active all over day. Like I have seen many elders comes to me कि डॉक्टर साहब सुबह आधा घंटा चलते हैं, उसके बाद क्या करते हैं, उसके बाद लेटे रहते हैं पूरा दिन. तो मैंने कहा फिर वो चलने का तो कोई फायदा ही नहीं हुआ. आपने you have pick up only one thing कि हमें we have to walk for 30 minutes, but rest of the time you are not using your muscles, you are not using your body, so then it is again of no use. The best thing is to involve in all the light activities, like दिन के टाइम पे, what I tell to my patients, दिन के टाइम पे सोइए नहीं, एक्टिव रहिए, जो भी काम करना है वो, अनलेस अदरवाइज आप एक्टिव है तो छोटे बच्चे को बोल दिया कि पानी लेके आओ, इससे अच्छा आप खुद जाके पानी ले आइए। आप थोड़ा सा मतलब कीप योर सेल्फ एक्टिव ड्यूरिंग होल डे। From here onwards, the important exercises start. Like first and foremost is we can tell our patients to have a brisk walking. If they are not able to do a brisk walking, just paced walking. Paced walking means you have to walk in a way just as per your capacity. Like आप जितना चल सकते हैं उससे थोड़ा सा तेज चलिए, लेकिन रोज चलिए। और चलते हुए आप ये ना हो कि आप किसी से बात कर रहे हैं, आप बीच में जाके रुक गए हैं, जहाँ कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं। आधे घंटे तक आप चलते रहिए, और अगर चलते चलते आपको लग रहा है कि मुझे पसीना आया है, मेरा सांस फूल रहा है, तो इसका मतलब आप ठीक एक्टिविटी कर रहे हैं। लेकिन अगर आपको पसीना भी नहीं है, सांस भी नहीं फूल रहा है, आराम से बात करते हुए चल रहे हैं, तो इसका मतलब आप ठीक एक्टिविटी नहीं कर रहे हैं। फिर वो आपके पैरामीटर्स में कोई चेंज नहीं करेगा। क्योंकि अभी आपके पास कोई प्री डायबिटिक पेशेंट आएगा, उसको भी यही एडवाइस रहती है। थोड़ा सा डिस्लिपिडीमिया होगा, उसको भी यही एडवाइस रहेगा। इवन थोड़ा सब क्लिनिकल हाइपोथायराइड है, उसको भी यही एडवाइस है। ओवरवेट तो आजकल सारे ही हैं। तो ओवरऑल सबको ब्रिस्क वॉकिंग तो हमें आजकल बोलना ही है। तो उसमें सबसे बेस्ट रहता है कि डू दिस। देन if the person is active, then it is better to do vigorous activities. Like vigorous activities 75 minutes in a week is also okay, like 15 minutes in a day. But if the person is doing a moderate activity, then 30 minutes a day is important. 30 minutes in a day for 5 days, or 15 minutes a day for vigorous activities for 5 days. Vigorous activities is running, swimming, football, hiking, and all these things. Then if the person is having osteoarthritis, they says कि मैं तो भाग नहीं सकता, रन नहीं कर सकता, कुछ नहीं कर सकता, then water aerobics is a very good exercise for older people. Just ask them to walk in swimming pool. वो 4 feet वाला जो pool होता है, they have to walk from one corner to other, because water has a thirst of itself. So it will not put a pressure on the joints. And second thing, they can, if they are walking in the water, then उसमें पूरा resistant training भी हो जाएगी, क्योंकि वो पूरा उसको cross करके जाना है। तो this is a good exercise for those people who have a osteoarthritis. Then if they are not able to move, then even chair yogas, we also ask people to do chair yogas. These are also good exercises. And resistant band trainings, this is for muscle weakness, but this I will advise usually to all the patients, first meet with the doctor and then do, because elders may have osteoporosis, and doing a resistant band training may result into fracture. So it is better to first assess their bone strength, assess their activity levels, and accordingly advise them the resistant band. But usually doing it with the moderate intensity bands is okay, without any problems, but this is good for muscle strengthening. Then if the person is not want to do anything, there is lots of studies, lots of data emphasizing on walking 10,000 steps per day. There is lots of data on this. So just if you are doing 10,000 steps per day, this will work like miraculous. But the thing is that we usually prefer to go by lift or walk, means not doing much walking. Then body weight workouts can also be done. This is also a one way. Then if your elders are like, there is nowadays, there is also one concept is rising in our fraternity about the balance, because there is lots of falls. तो पेशेंट्स में फॉल बहुत होता है। तो अभी एक न्यू टेस्ट तो नहीं, टेस्ट तो पुराना है, बट गेनिंग पॉपुलैरिटी नाउ इज अबाउट द सिंगल लेग स्टांस टेस्ट. सो आस्क if your patient is okay, means not very old, or give them the support, just ask them to stand on one leg for 10 seconds. So if they are able to stand on one leg for 10 seconds without any problem, then their balance is good. But if they are not able to stand on one leg for 10 seconds, this means that there is a problem. And if they are not able to stand even for 5 seconds, this means that there is severe problem with the balance and it may results into fall also. तो फॉल का भी उनमें खतरा रहता, तो इट इज़ बेटर कि उसमें फिर इनको ये इस तरह की लोअर लिम्ब स्ट्रेंथनिंग एक्सरसाइजेस बताना बहुत ज़रूरी है, जिसमें से कि फर्स्ट इज हील रेज. आस्क देम टू पुट अ चेयर इन द फ्रंट एंड आस्क देम टू हील रेज, knee to chest, knee flexion, hip extension, and even side leg raise. Most of the time I tell my patient to do this chair squats. एक कुर्सी ले लीजिए, बस खड़े हो जाइए, बैठ जाइए, खड़े हो जाइए, बैठ जाइए, 5 बार कीजिए, फिर उसके बाद रेस्ट कीजिए, फिर खड़े हो जाइए, बैठ जाइए. तो इसमें जितने भी आपकी थाई मसल्स हैं, इवन आपका काफ मसल्स हैं, वो सारी मसल्स स्ट्रेंथन होती हैं. एंड दीज मसल्स बेसिकली लेग मसल्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू मेंटेन बैलेंस. सो जस्ट चेयर स्क्वाट्स आर वेरी गुड फॉर स्ट्रेंथनिंग लेग मसल्स. Then we in our clinic we do mini cog, which is called as mini cognition test, in which there is a 3-word recall test and a clock drawing test. So if the people in this screening, if we see them that they have some attention problem or there is some mild cognitive impairment, then we tell them to do some exercises for cognitive improvement. These exercises are basically to increase the attention span so that their attention will be better. First and foremost is art and craft. I ask my patients to draw greeting cards. Nowadays they draw greeting card and bring it for me. तो उनको बोल दिया कि आप greeting card बनाइए, कुछ painting कीजिए, मतलब involve some cognitive activities, even play some trivia quizzes like ए से शुरू होने वाले कंट्रीज़ के नाम बताइए, बी से शुरू होने वाले आपके कुछ बर्ड्स के नाम बताइए. तो जस्ट इन्वॉल्व देम कोग्निटिवली एंड टेल देम टू डू दिस डेली 5 to 10 minutes at home. Even they can solve sudoku puzzles, word puzzles and all these things, but just tell them to challenge their mind cognitively for 5 to 10 minutes daily and try to learn new things. Nowadays we are seeing many patients they are very much interested in learning Sanskrit, learning all the shloks and everything. So you can tell them कि ठीक है, आप एक श्लोक याद करके आइएगा और मुझे सुनाइएगा, उसका मतलब भी बताइएगा. Though taking care of elders is a little time consuming thing, but this it becomes interesting also with time. तो उनको आप क्या वो याद करने कुछ बोलेंगे, वो अपने आप याद करके आते हैं, बट दिस मेक देम इन्वॉल्व आल्सो. अदरवाइज आज की डेट में ये यूट्यूब्स और ये सब 2 ही लोग देख रहे हैं, एक बच्चे और एक एल्डर्स. 60 साल के बाद ज़्यादा काम नहीं है, पूरा टाइम बैठ के टीवी देखना है और कोई काम नहीं करना. तो इसलिए उससे क्या होता है, बट दिस इज़ वेरी बैड फॉर योर कोग्निशन. आपका अटेंशन स्पैन कम हो रहा है, तो दिस इज अफेक्टिंग योर कोग्निशन. सो ऑलवेज मेक देम इन्वॉल्व इनटू सम कोग्निटिव एक्टिविटीज. एंड वी हैव सीन that once you alert them that this is affecting your memory, this is affecting your cognition, they become very conscious. कोई भी अपनी याददाश्त नहीं खोना चाहता है. तो एक बार आपने कह दिया कि भाई this is affecting your memory and this is true, this is nothing wrong, this is affecting your memory, so they becomes very alert, they becomes very conscious, and with time they try to change their habits. And the last part is nutrition. So this is the most controversial topic in elder care and most discussed also, whether to give supplement or not. Sometimes it is not in our hand. अमेरिका से बच्चे आए हैं और बड़े बड़े सप्लीमेंट लेके आए हैं माता जी के लिए, वो खा रही हैं वो, और उसमें क्या है पता नहीं, बट ये है कि दिस इज़ अ वे ऑफ केयरिंग ऑल्सो. पेरेंट्स का केयर करने का भी एक तरीका ये है कि उनके लिए कुछ सप्लीमेंट लेके आने हैं. सो बट all the studies, all the recommendations are actually against supplementing anything. अभी recently just कल परसों ही आया है, they are even telling कि कैल्शियम विटामिन डी देने का कोई मतलब नहीं है. प्रोटीन के ऊपर तो इतना डिस्कशन है, there is lots of discussion. हम तो सीताराम में when we discuss तो पूरा प्रॉपर लड़ाई हो जाती है वहाँ पे. तो एक कहते हैं देना है, दूसरे कहते हैं नहीं देना है. बट टेक कंसिडरिंग my experience of elder care of last 10 years, so I can tell that they need supplements, because we have seen their protein intake is less, and their protein intake is less, so they need supplement. Because so it is bad, because we have seen that in Indian diet, even with all their intake, they are not taking more than 35 to 40 grams of protein, but they need 60 to 70 grams of protein, everyone. So it is better to either give them some protein rich diet if possible. So these are some of the protein rich diets, and if not possible, then one scoop of whey protein is not bad, they can take if they like it, our taste is. Second thing is, because I am running short of time, so I have to run fast. So second is calcium and vitamin D. We all know giving vitamin D is very important, and it is also important. Now there is lots of literature also available that giving injections vitamin D is not of much use. It is always better to give this weekly wala supplements and maintain the level around 50-60 nanogram per DL. So which is good, and along with that calcium supplement of 1000 milligram per day. And vitamin B12 is also very important. We are mostly lacking because of vegetarian diet, and vitamin B12 is very important for your cognition, for your nerves, for your hematological, all point of views. So it is also better to give supplements for B12 also. Thank you.